Former Zamfara State Governor says no zoning agreement in APC can stop his presidential ambition. President Muhammadu Buhari orders reopening of 4 land borders. The Minister of Health says Nigerians are to receive COVID-19 vaccine by end of January. On business, Federation Account Allocation Committee shares 601 billion naira December 2020 revenue to federal government, states, and local government areas. On sports, Liverpool strike late to beat Tottenham 2-1 in Premier League. And on the international scene, EU to begin COVID-19 vaccination before Christmas. Welcome to Svtv News. I am Musa Joy Unyoza. Former Governor of Zamfara State, Senator Ahmed Sani Yarima, has declared that there was no pre-mega zoning agreement in the All Progressives Congress (APC). Hence, such arrangement cannot stop him from contesting the 2023 presidential election. Speaking to newsmen in Abuja and Westdale, the APC chieftain said even there was zoning agreement, such arrangement is not binding on him, not superior to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which permits every citizen to aspire to any position in the country. While confirming that he will contest in 2023 presidential election, he dismissed the insinuation that zoning agreements are coming from the same geographical zones with President Muhammadu Buhari will affect his ambition. For more on this story, Samira Ibrahim reports.
Senator Ahmed Sani Yarima said, any agreement that is contrary to laws of this country is not an agreement. The Nigerian Constitution has given rights and privilege to every citizen, which believes he has something to offer to aspire for any office irrespective of his state of origin, his tribe, ethnicity, or religion. The Constitution has given the people the right to participate in political process. On the allegation that the governors of Northwest states unduly romancing insurgents and bandits by way of granting amnesty to them, he said that both amnesty, stick and carrot approach should be employed. The former governor advised governors to employ carrot and stick approach in tackling banditry and, where necessary, use military and police power to ensure that all those erring members of the indigent who refuse to accept the agreement reached between them and government are brought to book. Samira Ibrahim reporting for SVTV News.
Nigeria currently accounts for 25% of global deaths due to malaria. This translates to 53 million deaths yearly, with 9 people dying every hour from the disease, the federal government stated. It further disclosed that the COVID-19 pandemic, aside its attendant economic consequences, also hugely impacted on the nation's malaria program, especially during the lockdown across the states. It stated that the pandemic threatened to reverse the gain made in malaria control through lack of access to treatment services, disruptions in supply chain, and interventions in the diversion of government resources. It, however, said that progress has been made in reducing the prevalence of malaria in the country from 42% in 2010 to 23% in 2018, with a dramatic fall in the mortality rate. Nigerian motorists have identified about 10 most insecure and dangerous roads across the country as travelers continue to face abduction and armed robbery on the roads. Those who spoke to newsmen lamented that deadly attacks on major roads had increased. A motorist in Niger State, Sarki Ahmed, identified the Birnin-Gwari and Abuja-Kaduna roads as flashpoints for gruesome activities of kidnappers and armed robbers. For more on the story, Peter Phillips reports.
The motorist, Ahmed, told newsmen that the situation now in Niger State is terrible. The Birnin-Gwari road is the most dangerous in the northwest for now. And that is the road that connects Niger State to Kaduna State, and bandits have their branch on that road. Immediately they stop cars, they kidnap people, and they are still doing that. The villages in the Mariga local government area have been taken over by bandits, and people who have farms in those places are under much pressure. The bandits have informants in the towns. They always go to look for farm owners, and if they know that the produce in the farm is worth 3 million when harvested, they insist on collecting 1 million naira before the owner of the farm will be allowed to work on the farm. Another motorist, Kazim Ahmed, identified the Mina Birnin Kebbi, Kaduna Kano and Sokoto Gusau road as the most insecure. The bandits were earlier interested in cows. They rustle cows and collect millions of naira from the selling of the cows. Now, they are interested in kidnapping people who travel. Peter Phillips, reporting for SVTV News Gusau.
Kano State Government will leverage services offered by Greenwich Merchant Bank to recover its economy arising from the damage inflicted on it by COVID-19. The State Governor, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, explained that this is because partnership with financial institutions such as the bank is essential to the revival of small and medium enterprises that were severely affected by the pandemic. The governor, who was represented by the secretary to the state government, Alhaji Usman Alhaji, made the assertion while receiving management staff of the bank who visited him in Kano. Dr. Ganduje stated that his administration had trained and empowered over 1 million youth to acquire a number of skills, stressing that a partnership between the state government and the bank in area of youth entrepreneurship will definitely result in a win-to-win situation for all the parties involved. President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered the immediate reopening of 4 land borders. The Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, made the disclosure on Wednesday while addressing State House correspondents shortly after the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting said other land borders to be opened by December 31, 2020. The borders are Seme in the southwest, Ilila in Sokoto State, Meigatari in the northwest, and Mfun in the south-south. The minister, however, said restrictions on the importation of some commodities like rice and other products will continue to be enforced. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has berated President Muhammadu Buhari over the state of insecurity in the country. Speaking to journalists on Wednesday during the inauguration of new road project in Bauchi State, the PDP National Chairman Prince Uche Secondos asked the president to tackle the nation's security challenges. While noting Nigeria is in distress, Secondos insisted that President Muhammadu Buhari has failed to tackle the security challenges. Mr. Secondos explained that President Muhammadu Buhari has left the country worse than he met it, adding that if he were in his shoes, he would declare a state of emergency on security in the country and change the entire security architecture. His remark came a week after over 100 gunmen stormed the government science secondary school in Kankara local government area, Katsina State, and abducted over 333 students of the school. The Federal Road Safety Corps has mandated the use of the National Identification Number for the processing of driver's license. FRSC management has resolved that effective 2021 December 2020, all applicants for the national driver's license in Nigeria must present the National Identification Number from the National Identification Management Commission before they can be captured for any class of the licenses produced by the FRSC. It's noted that the development followed the federal government directive on the harmonization of citizens' data by relevant agencies, explaining that all driver's license applicants are therefore expected to present their national identification number from the date before they can be attended to. He urged the public, especially those going for their driver's license processing, to adhere to the directives and follow the procedures for getting their NIN from the National Identity Management Commission, which must be verified to be authentic before action must be taken on the application for the licenses. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Ehanire, has said that Nigerians should expect to receive the COVID-19 vaccine by the end of January 2021. He stated this on Wednesday during the 28th Federal Executive Council meeting at the Council Chamber of the State House, Abuja, presided over by Vice President Yemi Osibanjo. According to the minister, a technical working group in the Ministry of Health is working on which vaccine will best suit Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari, who is currently in his hometown Daura in Katsina State, joined the meeting virtually. In attendance are the Permanent Secretary Ecological Funds Office, Mrs. Habiba Lawal, standing in for the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, who is self-isolating with his wife after some members of his family tested positive for COVID-19, Chief of Staff Ibrahim Gambari, among others. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has set aside a conviction and 7 years jail term imposed on a former spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Olisametu, after finding him guilty of money laundering charges. A three-man panel led by Justice Stephen Ada, in a unanimous judgment delivered on Wednesday, held that the proceedings of the Federal High Court leading to the conviction of Metu and his company Destra Investment Limited were tainted with bias and therefore must not be allowed to stand. Mr. Justice Ada, who delivered the lead judgment, held that the utterances of the trial judge, Mr. Justice Okon Abang, in the course of the trial established that he was biased against the convicts. He also directed that the case filed be sent back to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court for reassignment to another judge other than Justice Abang, and that the trial should be conducted afresh. Mr. Justice Abang had in his judgment delivered on February 25, 2020, sentenced Matthew to 7 years imprisonment for fraudulently receiving 400 million naira from the office of the National Security Advisor, then headed by Colonel Sambo Dasuke. Nigeria on Wednesday recorded 930 new cases of COVID-19, according to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. The figure is the highest ever recorded in a day since record-keeping started in March. With the economy fully reopened and normal activities restarted, Nigeria has witnessed a rise in new COVID-19 cases in recent weeks. Although a vaccine has been developed and administered in countries like the US, UK, and China, Nigeria is yet to receive any of the supplies. Wednesday's record number puts the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 75,062. Of those, 66,775 cases have been discharged and 1,200 people have died. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back on Business. Samira Ibrahim has more detail.
Welcome to Business Desk. The Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAC) has shared a total of 601.110 billion naira November 2020 federal account revenue to the federal, states, and local government councils and agencies. According to a statement issued on Wednesday, the figure was announced after the Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAC) meeting for the month of December 2020 held at the Federal Ministry of Finance headquarters, Abuja. The meeting was chaired by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Finance, Alhaji Aliyu Ahmed. A total distributable revenue of 601.110 billion naira comprised statutory revenue of 436.457 billion naira, value-added tax (VAT) revenue of 156.786 billion naira, an augmentation of 7.867 billion naira from the forest equalization revenue. The gross statutory revenue of 436.457 billion naira available for the month of November 2020 was higher than the 378.148 billion naira received in the previous month by 56.309 billion naira. The gross revenue of 156.786 billion naira available from the value-added tax VAT was also higher than the 126.463 billion naira available in the previous month by 30.323 billion naira. A communique issued by the Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAC) indicated that from the total distributable revenue of 601.110 billion naira, the federal government received 215.600 billion naira. The state government received 171.167 billion naira, and the local government councils received 126.789 billion naira. And that's all on Business Desk today. I'm Samira Ibrahim. Thanks for watching and back to the newsroom.
Let me quickly take you to our sport desk for the sport update.
Welcome to Sport Update. Liverpool's Brazilian midfielder Robert Firmino scores his team's second goal during the English Premier League football match between Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur at Anfield in Liverpool, Northwest England on December 16, 2020. Liverpool strike leads to beat Tottenham 2-1 in Premier League. Liverpool's Brazilian midfielder Robert Firmino celebrates scoring his team's second goal during the English Premier League football match between Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur at Anfield in Liverpool, Northwest England on December 16, 2020. And that's all on the Sport Update. I'm Fawzia Ibrahim. Have a nice day.
And on the international scene, European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen said the US 27 member countries aim to start COVID-19 vaccinations on the same day in a sign of unity, possibly a day or two before Christmas. Her statement to the European Parliament came as pressure mounted on the bloc to catch up with the United States and Britain, which have already started inoculating people with a vaccine made by Pfizer and BioNTech. Von der Leyen emphasized that the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine was the first of 6 potential vaccines for which the EU has secured contracts. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization in Europe warned on Wednesday of a further resurgence of COVID-19 in early 2021 as it urged families to wear face masks during this year's Christmas gatherings. The UN Health Organization said in a statement that while some fragile progress had been made, COVID-19 transmission across the European regions remain widespread and intense. The WHO Europe said there is a high risk of further resurgence in the first weeks and months of 2021, and they will need to work together if they are to succeed in preventing it. It urged the public not to underestimate the importance of the decisions and take extra precautions as many prepare to gather for the holidays. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Former Zamfara State Governor says no zoning agreement in APC can stop his presidential ambition. President Muhammadu Buhari orders reopening of 4 land borders. The Minister of Health says Nigerians are to receive COVID-19 vaccine by end of January on business. Federation Account Allocation Committee shares 601 billion naira December 2020 revenue to federal government, state and local government areas. On sports, Liverpool strike late to beat Tottenham 2-1 in Premier League. And on the international scene, EU to begin COVID-19 vaccination before Christmas That's the news. On behalf of the production crew and head of news and current affairs department, Alhaji Ibrahim Garba, I still remain Musa Joy Onyola. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.